I let my stepmom and her kids celebrate their inheritance at Dad's funeral, then watched their faces when the real will was read. Dad died on a Tuesday. Victoria had the funeral planned by Thursday. We need to make this elegant, she announced, flipping through catering menus while I sat beside his hospital bed. Raymond would want something sophisticated. My father had been dead for 6 hours. His body was still warm when she started planning how to spend his money. Victoria had moved into our house when I was 15, arriving like a perfectly manicured tornado that destroyed everything in its path. She brought her twins, Ethan and Zoe, who were my age but acted like they owned the place from day one. Dad was so smitten with her bleached smile and yoga-toned body that he didn't notice how they'd systematically erased every trace of my mother from our home. It started small. Victoria would rearrange things while Dad was at work, claiming she was just organizing. Mom's favorite coffee mug disappeared from the kitchen. Her reading chair got moved to the basement. The family photos on the mantle were replaced with Victoria's professional headshots. It's time to move forward, she'd said when I found her wrapping Mom's wedding china in newspaper. The past is just clutter. Your father needs to heal, and constant reminders aren't healthy. But I knew the truth. Victoria wasn't helping Dad heal. She was methodically erasing my mother's existence to make room for herself. For 3 years, I watched Dad transform. The man who used to take me fishing every Saturday morning suddenly had business dinners every weekend. My college fund, which had been carefully saved since I was born, disappeared into Ethan's BMW and Zoe's shopping sprees at Nordstrom. Family investments, Victoria called them while counting out Dad's pills each morning. The children need to maintain certain standards. When I brought home my acceptance letter to Northwestern with a partial scholarship, Dad barely looked up from his phone. Community college builds character, he mumbled while Victoria massaged his shoulders and whispered about how ungrateful I'd become. The changes accelerated after Victoria started managing Dad's medications. He seemed more forgetful, often losing track of conversations mid-sentence. He'd nap more frequently and seemed unusually tired after meals. When I expressed concern, Victoria quickly explained that he was just working too hard and getting older. The business has been stressful, she said. I keep telling him to slow down. At the funeral, Victoria wore designer black and dabbed her eyes with expensive tissues. Ethan and Zoe flanked her like bodyguards, already discussing which rooms they'd claim in Dad's house. I can't believe he's gone, Victoria sobbed to the guests. But I know Raymond would want us to carry on his legacy. During the service, I sat in the back row. Nobody had saved me a seat with the family. That was fine. I had a better view from back there. After the burial, everyone gathered at Dad's house, now Victoria's house, according to her. She'd already started rearranging furniture before the guests arrived. The will reading is just a formality, I heard her whisper to her sister. Raymond left everything to me and the kids. Poor thing will probably get some small keepsake to remember him by. Zoe was already planning her room renovation with the interior designer Victoria had secretly hired. Ethan was researching which of Dad's cars he wanted to sell first to fund his spring break trip to Europe. That's when Mr. Patterson, Dad's lawyer, arrived with his briefcase and a solemn expression that made Victoria's smile falter slightly. I'm so sorry for your loss, he said, setting up at the dining room table. Raymond asked me to read this immediately after the service. Victoria smoothed her dress and sat at the head of the table. Ethan and Zoe flanked her, grinning with anticipation. I remained standing by the kitchen doorway. The last will and testament of Raymond Blackwood, Mr. Patterson began. Victoria's smile grew wider with each word. To my wife Victoria, I leave my gratitude for showing me who she really was. Her smile faltered slightly, but she quickly recovered. To her children, Ethan and Zoe, I leave the same. Now Ethan looked confused, glancing at his mother for reassurance. The house, all bank accounts, investments, and personal property I leave entirely to my daughter. Victoria shot up from her chair like she'd been electrocuted. That's impossible, we discussed this. Raymond promised. Mr. Patterson held up his hand with authority. There's more. I couldn't fit